Welcome to the Lord Rexworth podcast, where we embark on a transformative journey to set your mind and spirit on the right path. I'm Lord Rexworth. Join me from Castle Rexworth as we engage in insightful conversations with a diverse range of guests, including VTubers, content creators, and thought leaders. Delve into the realms of creativity, inspiration, and self-discovery as we explore the stories and perspectives that shape the digital landscape. But that's not all. Prepare to unwind and find solace in unique ASMR segments designed to soothe your senses and create a serene atmosphere. Whether you're seeking motivation, entertainment, or simply a moment of tranquility, the Lord Rexworth podcast offers a multifaceted experience that transcends the boundaries of traditional content. Tune in and join us on this captivating exploration of the mind, spirit, and the fascinating world of those who inspire us. Today, I'd like to discuss the concept of you are enough. In a world that often bombards us with messages of inadequacy and comparison, it's easy to lose sight of our own inherent worth. We're constantly told that we need to be more, do more, achieve more to be considered successful or worthy. But I'm here to tell you today, this narrative is deeply flawed. Each and every one of us is inherently valuable just as we are. You don't need to be richer, thinner, smarter, or more successful to be enough. Your worth is not determined by external accomplishments or validations. It is inherent in your existence. Let's think about this for a moment. You are the culmination of billions of years of evolution, a unique combination of DNA and life experiences that make you one of a kind. There has never been, and there will never be, another person exactly like you. That alone makes you invaluable. But beyond that, you have talents, passions, and perspectives that are uniquely yours. You have the power to impact the world in ways no one else can. Your kindness, your empathy, your creativity, they all have the potential to make a difference, no matter how small it may seem. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others, especially in today's hyper-connected world. We see carefully curated images and social media highlighting the best moments of someone else's life, and we can't help but feel inadequate in comparison. But remember, those images only show a fraction of reality. No one's life is perfect, no matter how it may seem from the outside. Instead of focusing on what you lack or what others have, I strongly urge you today, embrace who you are, fully and completely. Celebrate your strengths and acknowledge your weaknesses with kindness and understanding. Recognize that growth and self-improvement are important, but they should never come from a place of feeling inadequate. You are worthy of love, respect, and success simply because you exist. You do not need to prove your worth to anyone, not to society, not to your friends or your family, certainly not to yourself. You are already enough, just as you are. It is common to journey through life believing that we are somehow deficient. If only we possessed more talent, we could achieve greatness. If our personality were better, if we were more confident or attractive, we could pursue our dreams. However, as long as we diminish ourselves, perceiving ourselves as disadvantaged, we hinder our own progress. When we consider the grand celestial plan for our lives, we must understand that this plan was meticulously crafted, taking into account all of our needs and the path required for us to reach our potential. As a man of faith, I believe that God has equipped us with the necessary talent, creativity, strength, and attributes suited to our unique circumstances. We were not shortchanged. We have not been left at a disadvantage. We are inherently capable, talented, and beautifully crafted. And yet life may attempt to undermine our confidence, whispering reminders of what we lack compared to others. It is crucial in these moments to remember that we are not competing in their race, the race of others. And what others have is not necessarily what we need. In the Almighty's wisdom, He has provided us with precisely what is essential for our journey. He does not make mistakes. We are each His masterpiece, endowed with favor and potential. We possess everything required to fulfill our destiny. There is no deficiency or inadequacy within us. My friends, it is time we cease comparing ourselves to others in terms of appearance, abilities, or achievements, and embrace our uniqueness. Each of us is powerful, anointed, gifted, and remarkable individuals. No one can fulfill our role as we can. Wishing for someone else's attributes, that would only burden us, as those attributes are specifically tailored to them, not us. We must acknowledge that what fits us is what we already possess. So let us stop longing to be someone else and recognize our inherent worth. Yes, it is admirable to appreciate others and celebrate their talents, but we mustn't lose sight of our own. Each of us is gifted and exceptional in our own right, and if we fail to recognize our sufficiency, we risk becoming dependent upon others for validation and approval. Embracing our worthiness allows us to seek approval from a higher source, and it frees us from the need for external validation. Relying solely on others poses a significant issue due to the inherent variability of human nature. A striking example of this can be seen in the Scripture, in the events surrounding Jesus, where individuals swiftly transitioned from proclaiming Hosanna in the highest, blessed is he that comes in the name of the Lord, while laying down palm branches in celebration of his arrival, to crying out for his crucifixion merely 3 days later. This underscores the fickle nature of human allegiance and affirmation. Placing one's sense of self-worth solely in the hands of others is a precarious position. If one's validation and sense of value hinge entirely on external praise, they risk losing sight of their intrinsic worth. By allowing others to dictate their perception of themselves, whether in terms of attractiveness or talent or overall value, they surrender control over their own self-esteem. Acknowledging one's inherent sufficiency, independent of external validation, liberates them from the shackles of approval-seeking behavior. When one recognizes their own uniqueness and worthiness, irrespective of others' opinions or actions, they embrace their true identity as a masterpiece. In the 23rd Psalm, David eloquently expresses his unwavering trust in the provision of the divine, declaring, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," or "I have everything I need." David's steadfast faith serves as a powerful example of transcending a mindset of scarcity. Despite facing numerous instances of disparagement and rejection, despite being overlooked by his own father and ridiculed by his siblings, David refused to succumb to feelings of inadequacy. Had he allowed the opinions of others to define him, he would have forfeited his own destiny as the renowned king of Israel. Likewise, if someone attempts to diminish your worth or capabilities, it is imperative to dismiss such negativity. Their perspectives do not define you. They lack the authority to determine your destiny. Instead, I encourage you, emulate David's unwavering trust in the divine plan, affirming your inherent completeness and sufficiency. Recognize that external validation is secondary to the approval of the Most High, who imbued you with inherent worthiness. Shed the limitations of a scarcity mentality. Embrace the fullness of your divine purpose. Have you ever pondered whether what you are seeking is already within you? Too often we search around us for answers, but perhaps, as echoed in the 34th Psalm, we need to look within ourselves. The verse reassures us that those who trust in the Lord lack no good thing. Therefore, we must perceive ourselves as lacking nothing, possessing the talents, the creativity, the confidence required for success. This self-awareness is crucial because harboring feelings of disadvantage or inadequacy can hinder our potential. In 2 Kings, there's a poignant story about a widow in dire straits. Despite her connection to the prophet Elisha, she felt overwhelmed by debt after her husband's passing. When Elisha asked her what resources she had, she initially believed she had nothing except a small jar of oil. Similarly, many of us underestimate our capabilities, dismissing our talents as insufficient. Like the widow, we risk overlooking the miracles within reach. God will often place what we need nearby, as seen when Samson, facing overwhelming odds, found a weapon at his feet. Just as the widow's oil multiplied when poured into borrowed containers, our potential can flourish when we recognize and utilize what we already possess. This transformation, it may seem illogical at first, but as demonstrated by the widow's abundance of oil, tapping into our inner resources can lead to miraculous outcomes, resolving our debts, fulfilling our needs. When faced with tasks from God that seem illogical, often it is the act of obedience itself that leads to miraculous outcomes. While God could have easily filled the containers without her involvement or provided full containers through someone else, the miracle hinged upon the widow's willingness to play her part. Perhaps you find yourself reluctant to heed that divine call, such as forgiving someone who wronged you. You might protest feeling it's unjust or that they don't deserve it after causing you so much pain. Or maybe it's just simpler tasks like assisting a neighbor or giving a friend a ride to work. It may seem inconvenient amidst your busy schedule, yet blessings often lie within obedience. Consider the story of Naaman, a Syrian army captain who became afflicted with leprosy. He was instructed by God to wash in the Jordan River for healing, and Naaman initially balked at the unconventional request. He cited the dirtiness of the river compared to those in his homeland, almost talking himself out of obeying. However, upon relenting and following through, his skin was miraculously restored after the seventh dip. The healing did not reside in the water itself, otherwise anyone's touching would have been healed. Rather, it was in Naaman's obedience that led to the healing. My friends, don't let reluctance to obey those divine callings prevent you from experiencing your own miracles. Elijah's encounter with the widow demonstrates another facet of obedience. He arrived without material aid, opting instead to reveal the resources that were already present in the widow's home. This underscores the principle that often what we need is actually already within reach. We need only recognize and utilize it. While it might seem insignificant or inadequate, when employed, God can multiply it beyond measure. Just as pouring the little oil initiated its continuous flow, utilizing what you have can lead to extraordinary outcomes. The widow's declaration of having nothing but a small jar of oil echoes a common sentiment. Yet it is what follows the "except" that God utilizes, whether it's minimal training, limited connections, seemingly insignificant resources. These can be transformed into remarkable achievements. When we reach the end of our natural abilities, that is where the supernatural intervention begins. If our dreams were easily attainable alone, that would not require faith. Thus, when placed with seemingly insurmountable obstacles or lacking resources, it is an opportunity for God to showcase His power in our lives. What appears as setbacks are often setups for the divine to orchestrate extraordinary outcomes beyond all of our capabilities. David possessed only a slingshot and 5 smooth stones. It seemed insufficient for the task at hand. Goliath, a giant towering over him, boasting military prowess, wore formidable armor and appeared unbeatable. In contrast, David, a mere shepherd boy and teenager, lacked formal training and experience. Faced with such overwhelming odds, he could have despaired, yet he acknowledged to himself and to his God, "I have nothing except this slingshot." Despite Goliath's mockery upon seeing David's small stature, David chose not to retreat, but to advance. Certainly, David might have questioned his sanity, contemplating how he could confront the giant armed with just a slingshot. Nevertheless, Scripture recounts that David charged toward Goliath. While one might expect him to employ tactics of surprise or stealth, David's actions revealed a profound sense of identity and divine empowerment. Understanding that with God on his side, his resources were more than sufficient, David did not flee from his giant. He ran toward it. With a well-aimed stone, David struck Goliath, rendering him unconscious. Seizing Goliath's own sword, David ensured the giant's defeat. This narrative illustrates that what appears insufficient or ordinary can become extraordinary when touched by divine favor. To overcome a scarcity mindset, one must affirm their sufficiency daily. My friends, declare to yourself today, thank you that I am enough. Thank you that I am strong. Thank you that I am talented. Thank you that I am attractive. If you do this, I believe you will see the seeds planted in your life of abundance replacing lack. Just as the widow's resources multiplied miraculously, so too will your gifts flourish, leading to new opportunities, breakthroughs, and the fulfillment of your destiny. Friends, it is so crucial to cultivate self-awareness. I ask all of you, take some time to reflect upon your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs about yourself. Notice when you're being self-critical or engaging in negative self-talk. Challenge those thoughts with compassion and understanding. Remind yourself that you are deserving of love and acceptance, just as you are. Another important practice is gratitude. Make a habit of acknowledging and appreciating the things that make you unique and valuable. Keep a gratitude journal. Write down 3 things you're thankful for each day, whether it's your talents, your relationships, or simply just the beauty of nature and life. Cultivating gratitude can help shift your focus from what you lack to what you already have. Surround yourself with positivity. Seek out supportive, uplifting people who celebrate you for who you are. Try to limit your exposure to negative influences, whether it be toxic relationships, social media accounts that make you feel inadequate, or environments that perpetuate unrealistic standards. Surrounding yourself with positivity can help reinforce the belief that you are enough. Practice self-care regularly. This is so important. Make time for activities that nourish your body, mind, and soul. This could be anything from exercise and healthy eating to meditation and hobbies that bring you joy. Taking care of yourself sends a powerful message that you value and respect yourself, just as you are. Set realistic goals. Celebrate your achievements. Break those larger goals down into smaller, manageable steps and celebrate each milestone along the way. Recognize that progress is more important than perfection, and setbacks are a natural part of the journey. By setting realistic goals and acknowledging your progress, you can build confidence and reinforce the belief that you are capable and deserving of success. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a friend. Acknowledge your mistakes and your shortcomings without judgment. And remind yourself, you are only human, and you are allowed to be human. Embrace your imperfections as part of what makes you beautifully unique. And let go of unrealistic expectations of perfection. Finally, remember to be patient and persistent. Internalizing that belief that you are enough. That is a journey, not a destination. It will take time and effort to undo years of conditioning and self-doubt. Please, I implore you, be gentle with yourself as you work to cultivate self-love and acceptance. And know that every step you take brings you closer to embracing your worthiness. In conclusion, remember that you are enough is not just some cliched, catchy phrase. It is a powerful truth that has the potential to transform your life. By practicing self-awareness, gratitude, positivity, self-care, goal-setting, self-compassion, and persistence, you can internalize this message and live a life filled with greater confidence, fulfillment, and joy. You are not alone in your struggles. You are never alone. If things are getting to be too much for you, please, please, please seek the help of a therapist or licensed mental health professional in your country. There is no shame in reaching out for help, and you will be stronger and better for doing so. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Lord Rexworth podcast. I hope these discussions have ignited your curiosity, sparked inspiration, or provided a moment of relaxation. To stay connected with the podcast and access additional content, be sure to visit my website at lordrexworth.com and follow me across all platforms there. That's lordrexworth.com. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. Your support fuels our journey to continue bringing you engaging conversations and soothing ASMR experiences. As we conclude today's episode, remember, your mind and spirit are powerful forces, and we encourage you to embrace the positive energy that you have gained here. Until next time, take a moment for yourself, stay inspired, and continue exploring the boundless possibilities that life has to offer. Visit lordrexworth.com and be a part of our growing community. Thank you for being with us on the Lord Rexworth podcast.